In the beginning was the Big Bang. We are told that 13 to 20 billion years ago, everything that makes up the universe as we know it was spontaneously created out of nothing through an unimaginably violent explosion. But did it really happen as we are told? A growing number of astronomers doubt it and are showing why. This is their story, the story of the universe. When Hubble made his great discovery, it was for galaxies like our own Milky Way galaxy, and they all followed the same rule, that the fainter they are, the larger their redshift. In other words, the faster they are moving away from us. This is known as the Hubble law, and directly led to the expanding universe theories. But in the 1960s, there was a new discovery, the quasi-stellar objects, often referred to as quasars. They appear as star-like points on the sky, frequently blue in color, and they have very, very large redshifts, implying that they are at huge distances from the Earth, at the very boundaries of the observable universe. Some astronomers soon found that a vast number of these strange new objects populated the regions around spiral galaxies, and were not only observable with radio telescopes, but were optical and X-ray sources as well. There were two properties of the quasars that were difficult for astronomers to understand using the expanding universe theory. The first was that if one plotted their apparent brightness against their redshifts, as one does for galaxies, one gets an unexpected scatter on the diagram, instead of the smooth curve made by the same plot done for galaxies. This seems to indicate that the quasars do not follow the Hubble law as do most other objects, and that there is no direct indication that they are actually at their proposed redshift distances. In fact, it is argued that if Hubble had first been given the plots for quasars, he and other astronomers would never have concluded that the universe was expanding. The second property was that quasars are very small, compact objects, sometimes only a light year across. So if quasars are really at their extreme redshift distances, they must then be the brightest and most energetic objects known to astronomers. So energetic, in fact, that untestable, almost metaphysical mechanisms must be applied to explain the phenomena. On the other hand, when placed at their observed distances, that is, in the neighborhood of nearby galaxies, their brightness and energies become normal, and no special mechanisms need to be evoked. This problem has led many astronomers to abandon the idea that all redshifts are due to their speed of recession away from the Earth. And if this is true, then there is no need for an expanding universe, and the Big Bang never happened. The questions arise. Is there a connection between certain types of galaxies and the quasar? Are quasars ejected from galaxies, and in fact proto-galaxies themselves? Is there some other astrophysical process which can explain the redshift discrepancies? One of the world's most controversial experts on the structure and morphology of quasars, Halton C. Arp, has for 35 years proposed just such an idea. For the heresy of opposing orthodox interpretations of the redshift problem, Arp has had to pay a heavy price, the same price paid by many a scientist with new and innovative ideas.
7603 has one redshift of about 8,000 kilometers a second, and the other galaxy has a much larger redshift, So how can they be connected? Well, these data were published years ago, and everybody said, well, this is just a chance location of a background galaxy near an interesting foreground galaxy. And that spiral arm has nothing to do with it. It's just the whole thing is just a chance.
If protoquasars ejected from the nucleus of active galaxies themselves evolve into new, younger galaxies, astrophysicists must find experimentally and observationally the mechanisms which describe this phenomenon. One model explains that the protoquasars are ejected, trapped in the galaxy's extreme magnetic field, aligned along the spiral arms, thus explaining the torn, disturbed features often observed in the galactic medium, and the frequent appearance of high redshift companion galaxies attached by filaments to a lower redshift parent galaxy. The other and most frequently observed alignment is when quasars appear to have been directly ejected out of the galaxy's active nucleus along its line of least resistance, creating a field of systematically high to low redshift quasars, or younger to older evolved protogalaxies. This is exemplified in innumerable systems like the one around the galaxy quasar field of NGC 3516. If one disregards the proposed redshift distance to these objects, observation clearly points to ejection as a likely explanation for their close vicinity to the central galaxies around which they are found. These results, though preliminary, are promising developments which may lead the way to new and exciting insights in cosmology.
One of the best and earliest of the really controversial things was a Seafoot galaxy known as NGC 4319, which Chip Arp discovered that it has a protrusion coming out in the south direction from it, one of its spiral arms, and ending up on another galaxy known as Markarian. And people have tried to explain it away in all kinds of ways and tried to take false pictures to show that it's not there. But I've seen the good pictures, which were the first really good pictures were taken by Jack Solen.
But I think you face up to the existence of the feature and then you consider conventional and unconventional explanations. But I was really surprised that they felt it necessary to issue a press release saying, it's not there, it's not real. It's the same thing we saw 20 years ago.
But it's hard to get people to look at this because they don't understand it. You see, it's again the non-cosmological redshifts.
Imagine if every puzzle on Earth was solved, every why that we have pondered but could not answer for all our trying be mastered. Imagine if we all, God's ways, could clearly understand. Will this be reality, or is it just myth? Our thinking is like the streaming colored lights, flames flickering across the dark northern night. It was dark before we started thinking, and it will be dark again if we stop. Some claim that most questions in nature have been answered. Others think that we have only just begun asking. This is their story, the story of the universe. Although Big Bang advocates claim the discovery of the cosmic microwave background radiation as conclusive proof of their theory, history actually shows that there is a long line of well-hidden predictions previous to those made by Big Bang theorists. Not only were these predictions prior to those of Gamow and associates, but more importantly, they were made without any need for an expanding universe, and with far greater precision. This shows us that observations such as the background temperature of space have no preference for one or another theory, and therefore may not be used as definitive proof of any particular model. The fact that a theory is able to describe an observation does not mean that the observation proves the theory.